right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, short week, Thursday night football, Jets at Patriots. I think what the line is at like 11 or 12 or something like that. Everybody in the world is picking the Patriots to advance to an 8-game win streak. That's right. The Patriots up to this point have won 7 straight games, going to Buffalo, to Tampa. Had a couple close victories in there as well against like Atlanta and whatnot. But New England is on a roll. And we have to give them credit, right? Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels is doing an absolutely tremendous job with that offense. I mean, let's face it. Their issues on the offensive line are not 100% solved. They still lack a number one wide receiver. Like, they could still use a lot of talent. A lot more talent on the offensive side of the football than they currently have, but yet they're still able to go out and produce. You're looking at what Drake May is doing this season. He's accurate with the football at all 3 levels, and I think the highlight is his deep ball accuracy. It is great. Obviously, a big body guy who could extend plays. Really good attitude. I really like Drake May, right? I mean, the Patriots offense is a top 10 unit. You look at the Patriots defense, that is a top 10 unit as well. And really where I'm impressed with New England the most is, I mean, it's kind of like football 101 to a certain degree, right? They do the important things well. They control the ball well. They convert on third downs. I think they're 7th in the league offensively at third down conversion rate, right? Defensively, they stop the run. They get off the field on third downs. They're relatively good on fourth downs as well. And if you match those ranks with overall completion percentage at the quarterback position, in other words, you have the quarterback playing efficient football, you're converting on third downs, you're getting off the field on third downs, you're being able to stop the run defensively. Also, a pretty good team with time of possession. They hold the ball a lot. They like to eat the clock. That formula alone is going to win you football games. So, again, we have to give credit to New England. Here's my question. At what point will the win streak come to an end? Will it come to an end on Thursday night? And I know that might sound crazy, and it probably is crazy to be honest, but I feel like there's a chance, right? Whenever you have these short weeks, right, where the game plans are not fully fleshed out, where the practice time is not fully fleshed out, when you have a short week like this, and then you stack on top of it, it's a divisional game. Is there a chance, right? Is there a chance? I mean, say what you want about the Vegas spreads and stuff. Those things have just been all over the place. I mean, you're looking at teams that are like 10 point, giving 10 points. They're getting blown out by 14. Like, what is going on with the parity in the NFL this season? I feel like is just the highest it's ever been. Like, you have no idea what is going to happen. You just have example after example after example of bad teams beating good teams, like almost weekly. You have the Miami Dolphins that just feel like an absolute train wreck right now. Absolute train wreck. They just fired Chris Greer. All signs are pointing to the team moving on from Mike McDaniel, after the season ends. No Tyreek Hill, a couple injuries. They go out and they manhandle the Buffalo Bills. Carolina, everyone had them as a 4 or 5 win team coming into the season. They have 5 wins right now. And you look at their schedule, they're blowing out the Atlanta Falcons. They're beating Green Bay in Lambeau. And then they're coming back home and they're losing to like the Saints and stuff. It's just so weird. This NFL season is just so strange, right? Cleveland beating the Packers with Joe Flacco turning the ball. It's just strange, right? Now, here's really the game plan or the idea for me when I look at it from the Jets' perspective. Offensively speaking, it's looking like it's going to be Justin Fields, no Garrett Wilson. If I'm Tanner Ringstrand, if I'm Aaron Glenn, my hope is we have to start fast. This is the game where I'm going to be calling a ton of quarterback power, quarterback option, quarterback draw, right? Utilize Justin Fields' legs. Make him that extra man. Force New England to come up and tackle. And granted, New England is absolutely fantastic against the run. But when you're looking at running quarterbacks, that's when things start to change a little bit. You can't just duplicate that. Oh, well, New England's great against the run. That means they're going to be great against all running quarterbacks. No, that's not how it works. So if we can really get Fields going, maybe have some misdirection stuff with him and Brees, or maybe getting one of these younger wide receivers, one of these shifty young wide receivers to football early within the first couple of drives, whether it's Williams who's coming onto the scene, whether it's Mechie or somebody, and we get up 3-0, 7-0, and we went on a 7, 8, 9 minute drive. You look up at the clock. It could be 8:30 in real time. Game kicks off at like 8:15. It could be like 8:30, 8:35, and there's 3 minutes left in the first. and the Jets are up 3-0, 7-0, that I think is the formula, right? Then you hope for a quick 3 and out or something on the defensive side. That to me feels like, okay, we got to hang in this game. To me, you cannot run the risk early, at least for me, because it's Justin Fields at quarterback and we just never know what we're going to get, with him. I mean, one week he could be amazing against Pittsburgh, against Cincinnati. The other week he could look unplayable, like absolutely unplayable, like Denver, Carolina. Last week was just abysmal against Cleveland, but we managed to win, managed to find, a victory in that game. And I think a big reason why was because the defense and the special teams, having the 2 returns. And of course, the bulk of Justin Fields' passing numbers came from a Breece Hall 40-plus yard screen. So because Fields is probably going to be rolling out there again, I don't want to take the risk of having him drop back, incompleting passes, taking these horrible sacks, being behind the sticks, punting the ball back to this Patriots team over and over and over again in their house, again on a short week. You can argue, okay, you want to try to get Fields in a rhythm early, but I really feel like the name of the game here is keep the ball on the ground, control the clock, and keep your defense rested because they're going to need it, right? Trying to go up against Drake May. So that's my play. Limit the mistakes. Limit the chance of mistakes offensively. Again, sacks, incompletions, picks. I just don't trust Fields at all. And it just doesn't really seem like the Jets coaching staff trusts Fields to actually throw the ball down the field. And then you throw on top of it no Garrett Wilson. So, and also Mechie and Mitchell, 2 young players who don't really have a lot of time practicing within this offense. I just want to come out of this game, right? I just want to start this game fast. I want to start this game on the ground, and I want to get the clock moving. If we're in a situation where the Jets receive and we go 3 and out, or we go, have a 6-play drive, and it's 2 minutes and 20 seconds are off the clock, the Patriots get the ball back and they manage to get up 7-0. They're getting the ball coming out of the second half. We're already down in the game, and it's not even 9 minutes in the first. Again, in their house on a short week, I just don't want to be in that situation. So for me, you got to control the clock. You have to, if you want to have a chance in this football game. Now, I will say this, defensively speaking, I think that the Jets could actually have some sort of success against Drake May in this Patriots offense. If you look at the Patriots offensive line play, it's not been great. Right, they're actually giving up a pretty high sack percentage. Drake May is not just sitting back there in clean pockets, and credit Drake May, right, because he's putting up these great numbers, these great wins behind a not so great situation. And it's not to say that the offensive line is to blame on every single sack, every single rush, but it's not a positive for this team. I think Drake May, by the numbers, is getting sacked over 10% of the time, which is like bottom 3 in football. So, you're looking at Jermaine Johnson, who's coming off a game with a sack. You're looking at Quincy Williams. He just had a sack last week. Will McDonald had 4 sacks. Like, this defensive line has the potential to actually get after Drake May. I think really the question here, how can we handle May's mobility? Him bailing out of the pocket, leaving the pocket, extending plays and him keeping his eyes down the field to find, a new target down there. Where we have a lot of young players out there. Brownlee is young. Malachi Moore is young. Tony Adams, right? Who's going to be playing that other cornerback position because no Gardner, and it's looking like Thomas is going to be missing this game. Is it going to be Stiggers on the outside and Brownlee in the slot, or are they going to bump Brownlee over to the outside and then maybe try something new in the slot? It's tough to say exactly what the plan is what that whole dynamic is going to look like at corner. But if we could get after Drake May, right, if we can maybe knock the first and second read off rhythm a little bit with that press man coverage, really getting your hands on him, getting physical, and having May start to really go through his progressions, if that offensive line is not holding up and our defensive line comes to play, it could be... Like, I'm looking at Steve Wilks. I understand that the storyline of this game is probably going to be Justin Fields in the offense. Again, will it show up? But Steve Wilks, like, there's a lot of responsibility here to keep the Jets in the game. If I'm Wilks, I'm almost saying, like, hey, defense, we need points. Like, I want 7 points Thursday night from this unit. I don't care how it's done. Like, I need a strip sack fumble. I need a pick. I need a pick 6. I need a safety. We need to do something to we're the catalysts, right? In other words, we have to force this team to get a victory, not this let's prevent New England from getting in the end zone. Let's force the issue here. We have nothing to lose. We're a 2-win team. And how cool of a story would it be waking up Friday morning as a 3-7 football team, knocking off the Patriots, who everybody in the world is picking? That to me is cool. That to me is cool. I don't think you go into New England on a short week and walking away victorious with the mindset of, okay, New England is better than us. We just have to limit them in everything that they do. I think you got to go out and force the issue. Again, offensively, I want to be super conservative there. I want to run the ball. I want to control the clock. I don't want to risk Fields just having one of his implosion games. And by the way, quick side note, because you can tell, right? If you're a Jet fan and you're watching the Jets, you can tell pretty early on, like by the end of the first quarter, if you know if Fields has it or if he doesn't. And I am not going to hesitate to put Taylor in this game. That's just where I stand with the matter right now. Again, we've talked about it a lot with Justin Fields not being owed $100 million guaranteed. He's not on a 4 or 5 year deal. He wasn't a draft pick by this regime. No. It's a trial run. It was either going to work or it wasn't going to work. Felt very much at the time like both sides were completely realistic. And up to this point, it has not worked. So I just don't want everybody to go down with the Justin Fields ship if he's not performing well in the passing attack. So it's going to be interesting. It is really going to be interesting, but I'm excited. And again, credit New England for being able to turn it around like this drastically. If you would have told me that the Patriots would have had 8-9 wins to end the season, that would have been a massive improvement from last season. But we're at 8 wins midway through November. So again, credit them. Although I don't really think it was more so like Vrabel coming in and he's just, whipping everything into shape. You look at New England from like a building perspective compared to a team like the Jets, compared to a team like the Saints out there. Like New England and Chicago, I felt like were those two teams where it's like, hey, you already have a top 5. You already have your young franchise quarterback on the roster, so you don't have to worry about that. You have a top 5 pick in every round because the team was so bad record-wise the season prior. So you have all these great draft picks. I think the Patriots had over 120 million in overall cap space, so you can go out and sign Milton Williams, 100 mil, Carlton Davis, Stephon Diggs, who else? Harold Landry. Right, so you have all these new draft picks coming in. You have all these new free agents coming in. You already have your quarterback again. You don't have to worry about trying to figure that out. Again, Chicago, look at what they're doing. New England, look at what they're doing. Look at where the Saints are at. Look at where the Jets are at right now. And I think a big part of that is just the instability at the quarterback position and not really having as much flexibility with the cap and being able, or the new regimes, in other words, to have the ability to bring in and accumulate the talent that they want to fit their system. It's not to say that each team had $5 million in space, but because they did bring in a couple players, but not these top tier, the cream of the crop free agents that New England was able to bring in. So, it's been a crazy turnaround, but the Patriots were in a pretty favorable environment for someone to step in and just start spending money, drafting players, and really start moving this thing in the right direction. And I think it really helps that Mike Vrabel knows that organization. He's a former player there. He's a former head coach, so he's been around the block. Again, Thursday night should be really, really fun. I'm looking forward to it. And we'll see what happens. Oh, by the way, real quick. If you made it to the end of the video, here's a question. For Thursday night's recap, do you want that as just a pre-recorded video? Or do you want to just go live right after the game? I'm down for either. The only thing is with the primetime games, the pre-recorded videos take so long to upload, or it doesn't really take too long to upload, but the YouTube process, because it has to process to HD, it has to basically go through the YouTube checking process, which is taking 20 minutes per video now. And I know these videos come out late as it is. So let me know, live stream or pre-recorded vid. It should be a lot of fun either way. But anyway, thanks so much. And as always, go Jets.